All right, hello everybody. Very warm welcome back to the workshop. So I thought I'd do a quick little video here just to really break it down to basics about what the concept is that I'm talking about here. Okay, so the idea is that there was an original human language, global language, and that you can find the evidence of this language in, well, many places. But obviously, one of the firm evidence, bits of evidence for the older evolution of the language will be found in the old stone monuments and carvings. So, the original human communication system was a core set of concepts. Right? These concepts are true. They cannot be debated. You can't have an opinion about whether they exist or not. You can't ignore the fact that they exist. You can't claim that there's something that's any different to what they actually are. These concepts essentially are the fundamental aspects of what I guess we would call reality. And they're the things that every single life form and every single human person is comprised of and experiences and is subject to. Okay? So these are the concepts related to life and the forces that drive life. Okay, you can try and argue that cycles of life don't exist, or that electromagnetic forces don't drive those life cycles, but you're going to be wrong. Okay, so we know through science that that's how it works. And you may think that that's a modern or can be attributed to modern science, but I don't believe that's the case. I think modern science rediscovered something that our ancient people already knew about. Right, so these concepts, they define the functions and the processes of the universe, right? And they're something that we can all agree upon. It's what they're called a primitive ancestors. Well, I don't believe so. Right? These guys identified core concepts of life and they used it to form a global language. I can't say to what extent it was a global language, but definitely I can see plenty of evidence that at least the major elements of the concepts or the major common concepts were globally understood and symbolized in a very similar fashion. Right? And there is evidence of it. You know, if you haven't checked out Dr. Jordan Peterson's Bible lecture series, where he looks into the symbolism and the psychological and physiological aspects of what they talk about in the Bible and the metaphorical sense of the stories, it's really quite spectacular because most of the words that Dr. Peterson uses are to be found as core concepts in the original core alphabet. So it's awesome. So you should check that out because it really helps you understand how our old people used to view the world and the way they used to think. It's very different to the way we think now, and that's why system is hard to get your head around, I guess, at first. But once you adjust your way of thinking a little bit, you can look back in time. Right? So in the Bible, right there in Genesis at the start, and again, Dr. Peterson mentioned it, and it's exactly what I believe is the case here. Genesis 11:1. At one time, all the people of the world spoke the same language and used the same words. In Genesis 11:6, and the Lord said, if they have begun to do this as one people speaking the same language, then nothing they devise will be beyond them. All right, so I'm not advocating the Bible in a religious sense. Well, I guess it could be everything that you wanted, but any belief system is religious. Okay, so but leaving for now the concept of a higher deity or an exo god, an off planet being. I just want to leave that out of the equation for now because I don't think that's what our original ancestors believed in. Okay, so now the very first alphabetical concept that I can see that's threaded right through the whole world, and you're going to know it straight away, the spiral. Okay, and obviously this, you may say it's coincidental that, such a shape that you would see in a seashell, or that you would see in a snail shell, or that you would see in a palm frond as it unravels. Okay, these shapes repeat in nature. We understand this, and yes, everyone would have seen this all around the world. But that is part of the unifying nature of it, and the ability to find a common agreement that this shape that repeated in nature was an excellent representation for energy traveling on a pathway that goes into a life cycle that is actually finite, but that will rejoin with the inorganic matter and energy, or organic matter, could call it that as well. Okay, but all of the matter and the energy go back in, and then you will come back out, and energy enters into a cycle, but energy also goes back out of a cycle. So we have a concept for the start and the end of the alphabet. Okay, energy entering into a cycle, energy leaving a cycle, the sequence of concepts then encapsulated within that are all of the ingredients and all of the aspects and concepts that constitute life. And quite simple, but quite detailed as well, especially in the Egyptian hieroglyphs. Absolutely amazing what's going on in there. That is got to be the pinnacle of ancient language, right there. It's amazing. So you will see this representation absolutely everywhere. Okay, it is all through all art, modern and ancient. It is a symbolism that has carried through, okay, the energy into cycles, and most commonly represented um, as energy entering into a cycle, because energy leaving is an end. That's a death. Okay, and when our ancient people, being quite superstitious, or they wouldn't like to speak of the end. Let's see if I can grab the next one. I've lost the pattern there. Okay, there we go. Oh, okay, very common motif. You're going to see it absolutely everywhere in, tribal art patterns in, island nations, and in the middle of the desert in glyphs, and just absolutely everywhere you could imagine. It's not letting me click through. Oh, there, it's back now. Okay, so there is some wrought iron work. All right, you can go back to Mayan. I believe this was the reference I got. This is a Mayan sculpture. You can obviously see the representation of the energies. Right? You might say, oh no, that's a drawing of a palm tree or something of that nature. No, 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 no. This is the representation of life energy, energy into a life cycle. Okay? We valued life, and we symbolized the things that we saw in life. Here's the spiral staircase inside the Vatican. Okay? Spiral staircase, of course, for a start, but of course, then add to that lovely ornate all the way around spiral scrolls, energy entering into cycle. Um, okay, this one, oh, I've picked up the wrong one. This was the Tiwa Naku, I believe. I did have a label on it, but somewhere you know, pre 3500 BC, I think they're saying, for this site where this tablet was found, the little frog they believe in the middle, and again here we have the spirals. So we're going back to, you know, I think Egyptian times here, 3,500 years or so, but possibly even older. Some of the artifacts at that site, I think they've dated back to 17,000 BC, 19,000 years ago, potentially. So, you know, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at, there's the photo. I opened up the wrong one. There it was, yeah, Tiwa Naku in Bolivia. And yeah, anywhere pre 3,500, they believe, for that one. And that was, step down here. Where else have we got? The Hindu representation. Over to India and that area. Like, I mean, how many would you like? This is no coincidence, guys, that these are energy coming out. Is this I'm not sure what animal this is. Excuse my ignorance, but in any case, it's yeah, obviously covered with energy spirals all over. Let me zoom that up for you. You can just have a quick look how amazingly intricate that is. Beautiful work. Okay. And you can get into Egypt on top of Horus's head. There's the energy entering into a cycle, and of course you're going to know it. It's the lower swelled arced line in the Eye of Horus picture as well, of course. There it is. You know it well. Okay, this symbol, you know, the Egyptians are carrying this forward from much, much older time. You know, they may have refined it and represented it in a beautiful fashion, but the concepts themselves, though, you know, they were like the guardians and the keepers, and they're carrying forward the language. And I think some great disaster happened, and yeah, there was a lot of, well, this got lost. All right, so there you go. There's a quick run through on the first and last concept. You know, you're not going to see the, using the glyph, we'll zoom that. You're not going to see energy leaving the cycle represented in very many places, except here it is in the glyph down here, and represented in that position, I believe, is the energy entering into cycle. And then if you mirror reverse that and have it exiting, then we are talking about yeah, the energy leaving the cycle in the end, and that matches the little G, the little E letter as an origin, and this one matches the little G letter as an origin. Okay, all right, there goes, there you go, guys. The basis for the whole system. The language itself is a circular reference. Go through from the start, travel through your life, end, converge, you go back into the energy, back into the earth, and you're reborn again. And you come back out, and the particles, not you personally or your soul, perhaps it does, hey, maybe it does. But for sure, scientifically speaking, the matter particles that comprised you go back into the ground and will be used again into another life form, possibly your own. All right, thanks guys, thanks for joining. Catch up with the other videos if you like it. Hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe, share it with your friends. Interesting stuff, trying to give some new perspectives here, and you know, try and get people thinking on the same wavelength. Too much division in the world. Yeah, let's do something with a positive message, hey? All right, guys, catch you soon. See you, bye.